Welcome to DRTSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a warm welcome to Dr. Ramesh Garu. Is a farmer. What should I say? How many times I should introduce you? He's a walking encyclopedia when it comes to meteorological department, whether it is India or the world. సో పర్యావరణం మనం ఎన్నిసార్లు మాట్లాడుతుంటారో ఆ పర్యావరణానికి కావాల్సిన వాతావరణ సూచికలు, ఆ పర్యావరణాన్ని ఏ విధంగా మనము నిలదొక్కుని సహజీవనం చేయాలనో చెప్పినటువంటి వక్తలు డాక్టర్ రమేష్ గారు. ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తిగా తెలిసిన వ్యక్తులు వాళ్ళు ఈరోజు మనకు అతిథులు. హీ నోస్ హౌ టు ఫార్మ్ ఏ సింబయోసిస్ విత్ నేచర్ అండ్ లివ్ వితౌట్ డిస్టర్బింగ్, destroying. That is the only way we say your safety is assured and the development will be very resilient if you follow those simple norms. But are we doing that? Right from Himalayas to Kanyakumari, Chennai floods you have seen, Hyderabad inundated, people getting washed away in Hyderabad, losing lives, property on a regular basis, Mumbai, all the other cities. Central government on urban development spending thousands of crores every year. Where is that money going? And state government, not less. What is happening? No panchayat or municipalities are empowered. No discussion on the floor of assembly. And in Lok Sabha, all of a sudden, top-down decisions, they don't understand. Where is the disaster management? We don't. Sir, you are forward before I show some things.
Yeah. Thanks, Andy. ధన్యవాదాలు పిలిచినందుకు. Today we should talk about the structural safety of the lifeline infrastructure. So lifeline infrastructure అంటే ఓన్లీ మనం రోడ్లు, రిజర్వాయర్లు, పోర్ట్లు, ఇండస్ట్రీస్ ఇవే కాకుండా ఫుడ్, uninterrupted food supply with nutrition. So enough food for our 140 crore population. We should ensure that India will produce come what may, despite climate change, any other thing. And then water. Water is another lifeline infrastructure. And the third important is clean air and clean environment. So these are the 4-5 basic things. So infrastructure is built by the government, but the available resources, how best we can make use of it, their community participation is very much required, whether it is a case of agriculture, food and nutrition, or water resource management. Ensuring clean air and clean environment, public has to, community level participation is very much essential. And once that community level participation realization emerges in the society, that we need to have complete safety and protection in all respects for generations to come.
Wonderful. I'll just show you some of the governance issues and how our people have been going around. We say right from Kaleshwaram to everywhere, how it has become the Joshimath crisis. So just wanted to show certain So these are the Bedrimpa. Okay, I'm sorry. This is part. They were trying to make jokes about Kaleshwaram project. And see, this is how during construction we have exposed Kaleshwaram. Crashed
Yes.
construction phase. So where is the safety? The structural safety is not at all there. Public money wasted. Public are cheated. This is Kaleshwaram. The young advocates from Vikarabad, they have exposed, they took these photographs. Or say because of this, they are not able to defend themselves in a different way. When is one, sir? Medigatta Dagara, cracks before commencement. How these cracks happened?
Yes, yes, sir.
Now, do you expect the safety? And again, the same Nadda, who was the minister, now is the BJP national president, alleges 40,000 crore Kaleshwar lift irrigation scam. What happened? Why there is no investigation? Why BJP silently supporting
బొట్టు
BRS?
బొట్టు రక్తం ఖర్చు పెట్టిన
Then we come to sinking town. Probe NTPC project says experts as subsidence creates panic. Joshimat Bachao Sangharsh. Joshimat crisis, a story of criminal neglect. Your comment, sir?
No, definitely. We have ignored the structural safety and geological instability the development is going to create. So we fail to assess those adverse impacts of the new construction and infrastructure for power generation or water distribution or whatever you call it, run of the river projects, which we are executing all through our Himalayan states, whether it is Jammu and Kashmir or Himachal, Uttarakhand, and Sikkim. Yesterday, Arunachal government has signed new 13 river projects and covering planning to generate about 27 gigawatt of power, and by which they will sell power to other states. But we don't know all those 13 projects where they are decided to create, establish, and construct in Arunachal are fully designs are considered, safety aspect of the design based on the experiences in Uttarakhand and Himachal are taken into consideration or not, we don't know. So those are all, despite all the problems we faced in Sikkim, Himachal and Uttarakhand and Jammu and Kashmir. So same development approach trajectory is continued. At least we hope that in those Arunachal 13 projects, yesterday only the signing of the contracts have been finalized for about 13,000 crores. So at least they will have these safety concern fully accounted in their plans.
So that is a forward, I mean, an optimistic observation, because when they are again initiating power projects, destroying rivers, their basins, and as you rightly said, food is more important. If you try to disturb the river, either it floods or it dries up or it creates havoc. The land, the way it is going to come down, we have seen it has sunk Joshimat. The same phenomena, if it happens, there will be scarcity of food and water, and their life are endangered. Where will they go and stay? Where will they survive, sir? They are only hills and hill slopes they are supposed to reside. There is no plain land as far as my knowledge goes, whether it is Arunachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand or those northeastern regions. Am I right, sir?
All development and habitations are there in valleys. So valleys are surrounded by hills. Approach to valleys through these hill slopes only. So there is no alternative. Development alternative has to be a very important factor. Whatever development we have done so far, if it is not becoming sustainable and investments are not going to stay for future extremes and other intensities, then we should also plan for development alternatives. How to, even those things collapses, how to survive. So that is now need of the hour is to think about the development alternatives. Whatever options we have taken, they are not becoming useful and sustainable. So we have to think on alternative ways of development, ensuring safety in all aspects.
And at the same time, they should not be bothering or destroying or disturbing the nature, the natural flow of rivers.
That is the primary thing. Primary thing, preserving the nature, preserving the natural resources, ensuring their sustainability is the primary responsibility of each and every citizen.
Wonderful. And then we said urban development sans regulations. If they don't follow those regulations. Simple and straight. In Hyderabad, we take. Now Chennai, we take. We have seen newly built international airport during the last Michigan cyclone. The entire airport is inundated. So there is no proper drain. Same with Hyderabad. All lakes, nalas are encroached. And Madras High Court, in fact, they said, you declare those fellows as terrorists. Use military to
Yes.
vacate encroachers, Madras High Court said. Such a big statement. But I don't think it has gone well with the Chief Minister or Prime Minister of India, all political parties. They are still indulging in the same. Your comments, sir?
See, this is a problem after enormous suffering repeatedly because of these encroachments and blocking of natural paleo channels, bringing water into the rainwater into the local tanks and lakes. When they are obstructed, we are seeing the consequence of water all over the new developed colonies and reclaimed marshy lands in Chennai or coastal cities, most of the coastal cities, whether it is Bombay or Chennai, Cochin. So a lot of area is reclaimed from the sea to meet the development needs of the land in those areas. If the proper drainage system is not prepared or designed, capacity of the additional drainage when you reclaim a particular land from the sea, particular area from the sea, the whatever natural taking the water, rainwater or the river water into the sea should not be disturbed. So this is the once you disturb it, we will see the consequences. Airport, whether it is Chennai airport, you remember please what has happened to Kochi airport in 2018 floods.
Yes.
Half of the runway itself was collapsed because it was coming in the outflow of a river, local river. So since
Clear.
water was not there for about 10 years in that river, you have constructed a runway. So these are all some of the ignored and neglected issues that have brought threat to the survival of our investment. See, whether it is Chennai airport or private operator built airport in Kochi, money government of India, our banks, our financial institutions have funded those infrastructure projects. Ultimately, it is people's money getting vulnerable and not becoming sustainable.
And this is how we bought. Example, Kaleshwaram funding, as you rightly said now, banks. How are they funding without risk assessment done? Now see Cochin Airport. Now they have done development in spite of that 2018 warning. There was a big movie also in Kerala, 2018. Still, the airport is there, they're expanding. And how can they fund banks, our banks also? When I go for a loan, I'm not getting a loan. And how is that without risk assessment? Pramada Anchana Lekunda. How is that they are funding such type of projects? Is only for commissions in spite of forewarning? What is happening in Mumbai? You have last time also you said they have taken up projects, but what is happening? Still Mumbai is getting flooded. How do you look at these scenarios, sir? Funding also. The Kaleshwaram is a big disaster.
See, that's where see the where the problem in our system is we have something called detailed project reports prepared for any major infrastructure projects. So when the DPR is prepared, DPR is supposed to be comprising major environmental impact assessment. What this project, once it is executed, what kind of damage it will do to the existing environment. If it is impacting in the existing environment, both in terms of physical aspects and the sociological aspects and the large scale interactive aspects like interaction of this project abstract environment affecting water and changing the irrigated fields from the farming. If that is what happening, what are the alternative measures this project developer take will take in terms of compensating those adverse impacts of the environment, air, water, etc. So EIA is the most important thing. Truthfully, this EIA has to be carried out. And this EIA got to be scrutinized by a designated committees at the state government level and the national level are very, very important. Added to that, in coastal areas, we have something called Coastal Zone Management Regulatory Act. Both central government, state have um, uh, 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 passed these legislations and they are under implementation at every district of the coastal area, whether it is island or coastal zone. So they have clearly demarcated where development can take place, where development cannot take place. Though demarcated areas are there. So clearly, not only the land side, even the ocean side of the coastal zone also to be protected from the coastal erosion, sea level rise. We have so many other problems,
Yeah, in Cochin also we have
tsunamis,
seen,
etc.
Cochin
So
also,
there are many things. Huh?
in Cochin
Hmm.
also, the buildings have been raised to ground, but how they have allowed such buildings against the violating Coastal Zone Regulation Act, only government knows. Same way, Noida, you have seen huge structures.
So we
Why they
have
allow? First in the
two
place, why
structures.
should you allow? And then you destroy, you pull
See,
down.
we encourage not only the paleo channels bringing the rainwater into the local tanks, but we encourage even plains adjoining river channels. So that floodplain area encroachment is also creating problem and inundation to the area and colonies developed in
Right.
those sectors. So flooding, we see all across Ganga Yamuna basin, this kind of floodplain encroachment is also there alongside the river channel. So floodplain demarcation is there, and but that is not
Allowed.
observed or executed with due diligence by the regulatory authorities, which we are supposed to do.
Right.
So these are all some of the things we know we are doing mistakes.
Right.
Those mistakes have gone to such a level now, they are threatening the whole investment which is carried out in last 30, 40 years. And the whatever development we are planning in terms of run of the river project in Himalayas or the ports or the coastal zone developmental plans and industry locations, even locating a project itself has to have this consideration of safety from natural hazards, safety from local hazards, safety from other consequential aspects due to sea level rise or coastal erosion or something like that. So other consequential and impacts also got to be made part of coastal zone management impact assessment or the environmental impact assessment. Once, in all respects, this project is truthfully examined and analyzed, then only clearance for construction or development of those infrastructures got to be cleared.
Yeah, but I have shown you the same Water Resources Minister himself stating uh, so much of
Hmm.
corruption and in Kaleshwaram. Same way,
Hmm.
Joshimath also, when it was sinking, they said there is some serious problem in Joshimath project also, the government. But still, no action
Yes.
has been initiated in Kaleshwaram by central government or even in Joshimath crisis, Uttarakhand. Now see, again, Arunachal, they are allowing hydroelectric power projects. How do you look at this scenario? In spite of warnings, destruction, and government itself, central government, even Modi, Amit Shah, they said anytime money, KCR, Kaleshwaram, and for Chandrababu Naidu, Polavaram. And see, their own Ram temple is under threat now. Bhadradi Ramachandra. These Western and North Indian politicians, they don't want to protect our heritage, Southern Indian heritage. It is threatening because of lopsided designs or project reports. How do you look at this scenario? On one side, they themselves claim destruction, corruption. On the other side, again, they are allowing projects which are going to destroy Bhadradi Ramachandra temple. And you have seen how Kaleshwaram has taken away the vital money of the people, and so many thousands of crores. How banks have funded, God knows. And Joshimath sinking. You have seen Assam, you have seen Chennai, and you see Mumbai regularly, Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Cochin. What should we do, sir? He said resilient development. How should it be? And Modi, he was trying to make so many statements, Prime Minister, to international media on structural stability and all those things.
See, we have, whether it is wrong, things have been executed. At least whatever bad experiences of wrong choices, improper detailed project reports, improper environmental impact assessment, improper coastal zone management guidelines not complying with. So all those decisions which we have allowed infrastructure is built. Now we should, first step would be to make already made infrastructure to be resilient. So wherever possible, at least truthfully, we should re-look at the infrastructure which is already developed and made functional. But that infrastructure is suffering. Sustainable, functional aspect of that infrastructure is interrupted by various, you can call natural hazards or coastal erosion as a consequence of that is happening. So that is getting under threat. So at least wherever possible, we should truthfully find out solutions. Some of the infrastructure decisions may have a structural safety component. Now it can be added so that at least investment made becomes sustainable, and then with additional incremental spending of 10%, 15%, structural safe perhaps can be achieved. So we should look at this particular aspect of ensuring the structural safety of the existing lifeline infrastructure. Existing lifeline infrastructure is on which our water irrigation systems and water to industry are fed from the reservoirs and their distributaries. So sustainability of the existing infrastructure becomes very, very important for ensuring water distribution and water utilization in our country. So this is one particular factor, whether it is water related infrastructure in plain areas, coastal areas, and then barrages in coastal areas, or run of the river hydroelectric projects in hill states of India, have to undergo this structural safety, relook of structural safety aspect in a very, very truthful and sincere manner in terms of our public interest. Very quickly, that kind of uh, development alternative to ensure structural safety of the existing lifeline infrastructure is very, very essential.
See, even in this Uttarakanshi, we have seen Diwali, so many miners were trapped. Repeated warnings also had been given to Modi government. You have seen how loose soil is coming up, how a company like Navayuga with no experience can go and drill, and Prime Minister allow, and again they are trying to destroy Arunachal Pradesh also.
See, this tunnel particularly was demonstrating this kind of um, uh, uh, sand and loose soil coming out while the tunneling process itself is going on at several times. So there are reports that the location identified for this kind of long tunnel of more than 4 to 5 kilometers long may not be appropriate. Workers who are on the field have been expressing this kind of collapse from the top is happening, and despite that, no escape route. See, when tunnel is constructed, basic thing is there has to be an escape route.
Yeah.
So we see in buildings also, when lift goes dysfunctional, so at least to the next floor there is a battery to take the passengers to the next floor, and they can take the staircase, fire exit, and then come out. So this kind of exit route has to be a part of this exercise. Now we understand there was no escape route. That's how all the workers were trapped on the other side when the collapse of the tunnel has taken place in between. From the older side and the new area in between, the hill collapsed, loose soil, sand, etc. So this we have discussed already
Yeah.
with
Now, because we have
Dr.
last 10
Subbarao
minutes,
garu.
then why I'm trying to put it is, in spite of warnings in the name of Hindutva or Chardham, if they are resorting to this unwanted thing which is going to destroy the nature, the executor, the prime minister, the parliament, there is no discussion, assembly, no discussion, panchayat, municipalities, no discussion. Then how do you think people should become aware? Now, people should take everything into their hands.
No, people should understand the kind of development and economic prosperity of the region was proposed to happen through the implementation of these developmental projects. Whatever is promised is not going to happen. So once that realization comes, the kind of development trajectory which is taken in Uttarakhand, for example, Chardham Yatra, the many alignments of the road expansion are not found to be structurally strong, and slopes are not stable. So same we have seen already the expanded expressway or national highway between Mandi and Manali has collapsed in the last year's this year's flood only in Himachal because of extreme rainfall that is taking place. So the newly executed four-way four-way highway from Manali to Mandi at several places, newly built, not even 1 year, 2 year old.
Yeah.
So, if the same structural safety is ignored in the alignments all along the Chardham Yatra, tunnels are one of those important component of that Chardham Yatra expansion. So, at least now we should relook into those alignments and slope stability aspects with proper geotechnical studies. These projects got to be executed. At least whatever has to happen now, the safety aspects cannot be ignored. Otherwise, the whole state will come into the risk zone of sustainability. So instead of adding economic development to the communities and the people living in remote and hilly areas and valleys, we will be creating further problems about their economic development and their prosperity, etc.
Because Himalayas, 45% of population depends on Himalayas, and they are destroying without any proper, as you rightly said, structural safety.
See, another important factor yes.
Yeah, I'll just show this video and I'll take your comments, sir. Now, latest, it has come, latest from Chennai. Now you see the petrochemical industries, how they are spoiling the day of the people.
Oil spill entering flooded homes in Chennai. The National Green Tribunal has decided to take up this case on its own, hours after the video went viral. Residents in these pockets of northern Chennai are literally breathing oil. To give you a sense of what they went through, the oil spill in the inundation was this high both sides. Catherine's home at Wimco Nagar stings of oil. A lot of waste oil suspected to be from petrochemical industries dotting the area flowed into her home on Monday, destroying all her belongings. There are telltale signs of the oil pollution at all homes and streets.
The worst thing is we are not getting food, that is okay. We are not getting water, that is okay. But people are getting sick. All our children are getting sick.
Many like Ganesan, who waded through the oil-mixed waters, have developed health issues.
எனக்கு யூரின் போகிற இடத்துல இதாகிடுச்சு, இந்த உடம்பெல்லாம் இதாகிடுச்சு தண்ணிக்குள்ளே போனதுனால.
Already there is environmental damage. The Buckingham Canal that had carried these pollutants has lot of oil now. NDTV traced the pollution to be even worse at the fragile estuary in Ennur, a few kilometers away. Thick coat of oil littering shores and the boat. Fishermen are worried of the repercussions. There's no assessment yet on the quantum of the spill nor the culprit traced. The Pollution Control Board has collected samples. Environmentalists are worried.
There's a very large mass of oil that is now forming into tar balls and littering the sediment, which means that there's going to be long-term damage to a ecosystem that's already ailing. It's already in the intensive care unit, and this is like a very, very bad blow. What's to be done is to estimate how much of this is there and how it can be contained and how it can be restored.
Even as Chennai grapples with heavy inundation triggered by heavy rains the cyclone brought in, this is yet another challenge to stop the spread of the damage into the sea and help communities get rid of the oil.
Yes, sir. Last 4 minutes now. What should I say? They have sent me when I have announced this show.
No.
Can't be on. Very strange.
No, 100%. This is the another aspect apart from soil contamination, water pollution, chemicals and fertilizers, pesticides getting into estuaries like Ennore. So now the petrochemical complex, which is located there, is discharging the oil. Oil spill has been the serious casualty of the recent Chennai floods. So these are all the aspects and to be anticipated. If this kind of accidental release takes place, what would happen to the estuary and the people living on either side of the estuary and the habitations. So this assessment should have been the part of environmental impact assessment before allowing the petrochemical complex to be set up there. So we missed to assess this aspect of accidental oil release from the Ennore petrochemical complex while its clearance was given by the government authorities, so relevant authorities. So that is where this is one of the serious lapses. Once this is happening, we should ensure that either the total precaution not to have any sort of leaks by the petrochemical complex by putting all those safeguards are to be assured. If something happens, we should have a secondary safeguard, third safeguard, multiple levels of oil spill stoppage from the chemical industry has to be ensured now. So at least who will ensure? All these things are to be ensured by the pollution control boards. Pollution control boards are supposed to mandatorily visit each and every industrial establishment and see whether those designated safety concerns in terms of spills, whether it is gas leak or oil leak or the pollutant dispersal and the waste dispersal from the complex, all those standards are maintained or not.
Yeah, we are
they
now
visit
last,
and they certify.
Ramesh
So
ji,
if you are
last 1.5 minutes, neither plain land, valleys or hills or coastal areas, nothing is safe. Prime Minister Modi and the cabinet, union cabinet announces awards every year, spending thousands of crores on urban development or rural development, coastal development. Now, what is your message? 1 minute time. What is your message?
Message is at least message is we have to relook all the developmental aspects, and in terms of structural safety, development alternative to the structural safety and safety of the people has to be ensured.
Wonderful. So this is for today. Structural stability or safety is more important than the economical development. In the name of economics, in the name of 5 trillion, 6 trillion, you cannot kill people. You cannot destroy the nature. And that symbiosis between humans and nature should be safeguarded, come whatever may. That should be the resilient development goal. The structural safety and the lifelines, as you rightly said, whether it is water, air, or the land, or the seaside coastal areas, everything should be monitored. Everything should be part and parcel of any development activity. Otherwise, what is happening from Himalayas, Joshimath, and then latest Uttarakanchi, and the destruction of Himalayas to coastal areas, to the landed, regularly we see flooding, whether it is Chennai, Hyderabad, Cochin, Mumbai, this is going to be there, and we have to live with that. So citizens, become aware, start questioning, otherwise we are going to suffer. And the independence of panchayats, municipalities is very